Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Now on the telephone line, I'm sure I've got Chair of the Waikanae Community Board. It's Jocelyn Prvanov. Good morning, Jocelyn.
Yes, good morning, Nigel.
Well, what's it like out at the beach? Much rain out there at the moment?
Oh, we've had some quite good downpours, but it's actually, I think we need it because it's actually been getting a bit dry. So hopefully we get what we need and then it disappears again and we go back to our lovely weather.
Yes, well, Maury up there in Greenaway Road said we had 8 mils overnight. We've had a lot more since then, but 39 for the month is against last year. We had 149 mils at this time last year. So
yes, I know, and you just never know. So next month might be like that again. You just, you've just got to take what you get, unfortunately.
But there's no flooding around down there that you know of?
No, well, I haven't left the house yet,
right, okay,
so it's the ground soaking it all up.
Yeah. Now, the council decided that parallel parking's the way to go in Waikanae, and you went along to that meeting. What was the debate in general?
Well, this is a very, very polarised issue. So there were those who are looking at what is needed in Waikanae, what the businesses are looking for, and that is actually more parking than they want angle parking. And on the other side of it too, there's a lot of desire to have a cycleway through there. And I suppose, so basically the end of it, obviously there was a vote, and it was actually it wasn't an overwhelming, I think it was 5-4 for parallel parking, but at the end of it, there was actually a motion put in. So council actually asked council staff to go back and actually look at safer options for angle parking. And I suppose the whole thing about this process is that we were given two options. Well, the councillors were given two options to vote on. One was angle parking, one was parallel parking, and basically a cycleway was, couldn't be included if it was going to be angle parking. So, and I think there was a lot of discussion about how other options that are out there weren't actually considered, and hopefully, it's very difficult to undo a decision, but it's a case of where maybe now some of those other options which would provide for a cycleway as well as those extra parks will occur. So I think everyone on the board, or most people on the board, are in agreement. It's a good idea to have a cycleway, but there are other options that could be considered, and so both can occur. And I think even the cycling groups that came along, they were very happy with the idea of going back and looking at some of those options. And I suppose the other thing too that came out of it too is that none of the so consultation was done, but it was actually done on a individual basis. So the cycling group and the business group, were even never actually asked to come together to sit around the table, and that makes I think the position we've got into. Well, it's probably indicative of where we've got to in terms of the situation. Yeah. So I think there's going to be a meeting of all those groups in one room, which I think would also be very helpful. So
there is a chance that you might get your angle parking. I was a wee bit against angle parking. I didn't realise it didn't come up on the agenda at the meeting last week at the community board. It wasn't on the paper. I would have liked to have spoken to that, but I didn't realise that was going to be discussed. But I really feel that angle parking is dangerous because backing out, and you've got to think of our older population backing out, they don't have the agility to stretch around and look to see what's coming along. And not just cyclists, I'm thinking of cars as well. It's a very difficult thing to back out like that.
Yeah, well, also too, a lot of people can't actually do parallel parking, and
you're right.
I've been on a bike myself when I've had someone open the door on me and being sideswiped. So
sure,
there's safety issues there too. So people can't. A lot of particularly older people can't do parallel parking.
Yes.
And there are blind spots. When you try and do that manoeuvre as well.
Yes. Yes, you're most probably right there. There's difficulties in both occasions. So it's going back for consultation, is it? That's really what we're getting to.
I wouldn't say consultation, but council staff are probably with NZTA going to be doing some more work.
Right.
And hopefully we'll see where it goes, but only time will tell on that.
Right. Now, the proposed development of Waikanae is starting to come to fruition. The first part of it, what's your thoughts on that?
I think so. This is basically for the cultural thread around the marae, and then the parking around the back there. So I've seen the plans, and they actually look really, really quite nice. So it was going to tidy up that whole area. It's going to provide a safe walking environment. It's going to provide parking, and it's just going to tidy up the whole area. And that's actually the very start of the process for tidying up Waikanae Township. So then, over the next few months, there's also going to be some work done on probably working on Mahara Place in terms of the planning there, and the board is actually going to work alongside a working party, which is the membership is yet to be defined,
yes,
so that we have got input from the community as well.
Right, they wanted a cross-section of input from those with experience in that sort of development, did they?
Yeah, there's that as well, but also people who are actually going to be using it. So we want to have someone, a younger person,
okay,
maybe an older person,
yes,
people from different aspects of the community, so that we've got an overall cross-section of the community who having, well, obviously there's been consultation, but having, a narrower focus group of people to look at.
Right. Now, you mentioned parking there. You're going to have a few more car parks there, are you?
No. So basically between the marae and the lane that goes into Mahara Place there, so that's going to be tidied up with, I think it's going to be a raised walking area. There's going to be quite nice tiling that's going to have a Maori theme to it. So there's going to be no more parking in there, but it's just going to tidy up the whole area.
Okay. So that's about to start, isn't it?
With the new, I was joined up to the new regional
car park.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about to start, isn't it, Jocelyn?
Pardon?
That's about to start, isn't it?
I think it's next month. I think letters have been just sent out to all the business owners. So I think it's now March. Yes, I think it's next month.
Right.
It's the idea is to have it done and dusted by the end of the financial year, which is the end of June.
Good on you. All right. So that was about it. It was a fairly quiet sort of a meeting, wasn't it, really?
Yes, it was.
The only thing is signage. Sue was very much pushing that barrow again, and rightly so, because I was coming off, I thought I'd drive down the expressway and get to the Te Moana Road to turn right to come to Waikanae. Those signs are so small, it's very difficult to see, exactly where things are. And I had a lady, as I mentioned, was down at Waikanae Beach, wanted to know where the swimming pool was, even though, there's no sign to say that there.
So there's a parking audit that's being undertaken, and that is actually taking far, far longer than I think it was probably planned to do. But in the interim, I suppose there's still a policy there, so people actually can go through that process to try and put up signs, and that's what I was trying to, to get some discussion around. Okay, there's a plan then, there's a policy there now. Work with that policy and see what you can get put up.
Yes.
And some of this responsibility has to come from the business owners as well. So you can, so there's generic signage,
yes,
and then there's also individual signs, and individual businesses, or for example, Ngā Manu, I actually noticed the other day they have got a little sign up by, I think it's Park Road, to indicate, to turn left to go down there to Ngā Manu. And people can actually apply to council, I think they're $250.
Okay.
So you can have those put up. But, balance between having thousands of signs up, as well as having an overall plan. And if you have too many signs that are put up, you're not going to have, people aren't going to basically see the wood for the trees. So,
right. All right, something to be worked on anyhow.
Yeah, so I know that that Sue has had since that meeting she has had some discussions with council staff. Right.
All right then, Jocelyn. Well, thanks for your contribution this morning, and we'll talk to you in a fortnight's time.
Yes. So there's actually one more thing that I'd like to bring to everyone's attention is on Sunday the Waikanae there's a Waikanae Community Hub exercise. So this is about having it running through what potentially would happen in a disaster, whether it's a flood or an earthquake or a tsunami, or all three of them. And so this is being held in the Baptist, and there's been lots of hopefully there's been lots of information out there, but it's in the Baptist Church this Sunday, and it starts at 12:30. So it's going to be a fun afternoon where people can either come in as a person who needs help, or someone who's going to be helping them. So come in for a short time, for a longer time. Come and see what's going on, because the way that emergency hubs work these days, it's not about going there and someone's going to solve all your problems. So it's a case of everyone's going to work together to help everyone else.
Okay.
But there's an overarching structure there about how that can happen.
So
it's about getting your head around that. Maybe in a time when there's no stress, and so when it does come to an event, or hopefully it doesn't come, but there's always the potential of it, that you've got an idea about what you need to do.
Sounds good. That's this Sunday, 12 noon at the Waikanae Baptist Church. 12:30, is it? Yeah.
Baptist Church.
Good eye.
Timawana Road.
Thanks very much, Jocelyn.
Okay.
Righto.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
106.3 Beach FM.